No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. This is a quote by one of my favorite Stoic philosophers, Seneca. And right now I am sitting in a flip that didn't sell and I'm furnishing it to turn it into a midterm rental instead. And it occurred to me that this is probably a perfect time to talk about some tactics for overcoming fear in real estate. Tactic number 1, ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? It sounds kind of negative at first, but I really like this mental exercise because when you really look at those fears face on, you often realize how silly they are. If you decide to invest in their first rental property and it doesn't go well, are you going to end up on the streets? Are you going to be penniless and living in a box under a bridge? Probably not. For most of us, we probably have some backup. Maybe you still have your job, maybe you have family who can help you. Whatever the case is, you're probably not going to end up in that dire situation that first pops in your head. So I think that facing those worst case scenarios head on and realizing how silly they actually are really helps you work through the fear. And once you've done that, I like to switch what you're afraid of. Instead of what's the worst that can happen from investing in real estate, ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen from not taking action? Think about all the things that you want in your life, the dreams that you have, the reasons that you're thinking about real estate investing, and then think about what it's going to be like to miss out on all of that just because you were afraid. So reframe that fear from what's the worst that could happen to what's the worst that could come of not taking action. Tactic number 2, practice gratitude. Another great Seneca quote says, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." I've also heard people say that love and fear are the only true emotions. Everything else stems from those two. Fear is the opposite of love, and love is the opposite of fear. So when you take the time each day to think about the love and the good things that you have in your life, you're practicing love and gratitude, which is the opposite of fear. So think about all the things you have going for you. And this can also give you confidence. When you think about what you have at your disposal to use as you get started in real estate, whether it's previous experience, whether it's good connections, whether it's a little bit of money in the bank, when you think about what you have going right for you, you start to think in a more positive way overall. So my personal daily routine for practicing gratitude is, first of all, I read a page in one of my favorite books, The Daily Stoic, every single day. It's a book by Ryan Holiday. He's kind of the modern day Stoic. And as you can tell, I like Stoicism and I think it really speaks to me personally. So I try to read that one daily page every single day. And then I write in a journal 3 things I'm grateful for. Ideally, you do this at the beginning of the day, but sometimes I do it at the end of the day. But that's all it really takes for me. 1 page of the Daily Stoic and 3 things I'm grateful for in my journal. And everyone has different ways to practice gratitude, but that's my example. Tactic number 3, study stories of successful people's failures. We're often studying their success, but I think it's just as important, if not more important from a mindset perspective, to study their failures because it reminds us that failure is just part of the process. No one gets away without any failures. We all fail fast, fail forward, learn from our failures, hopefully. And there's a great expression that says there is no failing, only learning. So when you study successful people's failures, it can really help you with that mindset. A few that I wanted to point out for you guys. Walt Disney was fired from the Kansas City Star. His editor said he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. J.K. Rowling was a single mother on welfare when she started writing the first book in the Harry Potter series. And while developing his vacuum, Sir James Dyson went through his life savings over the course of 15 years and over 5,000 failed prototypes. So if these people can fail and fail that hard in some cases and still end up where they got, you can invest in real estate. Tactic 4, embrace imperfection. Once you've studied these stories of really famous people who've done super well, failing, and sometimes failing over and over and over again, it's easy to see that perfection is not really part of the process. You have to embrace imperfection. You have to understand that you're gonna experience setbacks or that you're gonna start without all the information. In my past life, I was in the Marine Corps, and one of the things they always told us was come up with a 70 to 80% plan or solution and then just get started, because that plan is gonna change along the way anyway. So if you spend a ton of time trying to come up with this 100% perfect solution, you're never actually gonna get anything done. You're not gonna get started. Even if you do get started, it's gonna be way later than necessary, and that perfect plan is gonna change anyway. So embrace imperfection, start with a 70 to 80% plan, and go and learn along the way. Iterate. You're gonna get a lot further, a lot faster. Look, I made a chair. All right, tactic number 5, begin to act the part. I saw a post recently that said to fall asleep, you must first pretend to be asleep. And that's how everything else works. And that really hit me. We all hear you gotta kind of act the part or fake it till you make it. I don't think it's really about faking it, but it's about getting out there and just doing what you believe you need to do, or taking the steps that you see other people taking, even when you don't know 100% what you're doing. But you have to start somewhere. We all have to start somewhere. Even to fall asleep, we have to first pretend to be asleep. You have to lie down in bed and you have to close your eyes even before you're asleep. You're pretending. So start taking those actions, and the more that you do, the more that you learn, the more that you build knowledge and courage, and you start to do away with that fear. So action is one of the biggest ways to eliminate fear, especially with something like real estate investing. I hope this video helps somebody out there. You're meant to do big things. Do not let fear hold you back. If you have any other ideas of how to banish fear, or if you have some fear that you're trying to work past, put them in the comments below and the community will try to help you out. I hope you are having a great day. Please like, share, subscribe, all the things, but most importantly, keep learning, keep growing, and have fun.